20s is weird. One moment you feel like you have infinite possibilities ahead of you. Like you could wake up and become a filmmaker, a startup founder, or a DJ in Berlin. The next, you are spiraling because you have no savings, your job makes you miserable, and everyone on Instagram seems to have their life together while you're just trying to figure out how taxes work. Society tells you that this is the best decade of your life, but no one really prepares you for how confusing, chaotic, and in times completely overwhelming it can be. That's why today we're talking about 5 things every 20-year-old should hear. Things I wish I knew earlier. I'm no expert. I'm just like you, trying to figure it all out. Hey, my name is Nathalie. Welcome to my channel. Here, we're trying to find some answers and meaning in the complexities of our modern life through a bit of philosophy, psychology, and a little curiosity. Let's dive into it. Feeling lost is okay. We don't talk enough about how being in your 20s is actually very confusing and scary and weird, especially after finishing university. And this is something that I've personally at least felt like. You're thrown in the world that expects you to have it all figured out. Well, let's be real, most of us don't. You have little experience, no money, a history of mental health issues, probably in some traumas, and no idea where to run next. You're always questioning, am I doing the right thing? Is this what I want to be doing for the rest of my life? Who do I want to spend my time with? Where do I want to be? It's an endless tug of war between wanting to try everything and feeling overwhelmed to the point of wanting to do absolutely nothing. In today's economy, it's really easy to fall into nihilism. The job market is competitive, housing is so expensive that we have little inspiration and motivation to actually try and buy it one day. Social media bombards us with highlight reels of others' seemingly perfect lives. It can feel like nothing we do actually matters, or that finding a meaning in our careers or even lives is impossible. But here's the thing, it's completely normal to feel this when you're in your 20s. You're just figuring it all out. It's the time for this, literally. You don't have to have all the answers right now. This is the time to explore, to experiment, and yes, even make mistakes. You'll have those times where you're not productive, when you're not doing anything really important, when you feel like you're struggling just to keep up. And that's okay. Those moments are just as valuable as the ones when you feel like you're making progress. And for me, when I finished the university and I graduated with a degree, which has little to do with my real interests now and with my sort of career path that I'm following now, when I just finished uni, I felt like I was really lost because I knew I didn't want to pursue the career based on what I've studied, but doing something else was scary and unpredictable, and I had little knowledge in this. So I know what I'm talking about, and I'm very happy that I've actually tried and I was brave enough to go into this unknown path of a completely different career, which is great, and I'm really grateful for this. But it's completely fine. Sometimes I would think I wish I would have understood this earlier, but this is completely impossible. First, I cannot change the past. Second, I was completely not ready to do it at the time. I did not have the resources, I did not have the money or mental health or everything that I do have now. This is something you can keep in mind as well. Psychologist Meg Jay, the author of The Defining Decade, a very famous book, argues that the 20s are a crucial time for self-growth and self-discovery. But she also emphasizes that you don't have to rush. She writes, "Don't be defined by what you didn't do or didn't know. You're deciding your life right now. So embrace the confusion. Use this time to explore other options, reflect on what truly matters to you, take small steps forward. You don't have to have a perfect 5-year plan and know exactly where you're headed. Despite of what all these people on the internet are telling you, you don't have to have it. And I was the person who actually had a 5-year-old plan. And even though some of the things I've actually achieved, which felt really great, but some things I did not take into account, and we all know what I'm talking about, the complexities of the past 5 years we're living in. I did not think of that, the unexpected things that that are happening in the world that will have a big influence on you and your health and your mental health again and all kinds of stuff. Some things will happen, some things are not gonna happen. The process of figuring it out is actually as important as the destination. And remember, there is no real timeline for life. You're not behind, you're not failing necessarily. Maybe you have those little fails right now, but then you will have some achievements. This is how life goes. I knew exactly where I wanted to be when I would turn 17, when I would turn 22, and none of these things actually happened because I did not take into account that my life is different, that I am a different person from who I was so inspired by. Life happens, you know? Bad things happen too. Stop comparing yourself to others. Let's talk about jealousy. And in English, the word jealousy refers to two things: being upset because someone you love seems to be interested in someone else, and feeling unhappy or angry because someone has something you don't and something you want. I really want to talk about both, actually. In our society that is focused on profit, success, and material wealth, much of which is paraded on social media, it's become incredibly hard not to compare ourselves to others and think, why not me? Why them? And here's the thing about jealousy. It's a poison that only harms the person who's feeling it. Sure, some may argue that it's a completely normal feeling, which is true, partially to me, and that jealousy can serve as motivation, which is also true, but only partly. And hear me out. About jealousy being the motivation in life, I totally understand it. It's something that I've relied on as well at the time. Then I really questioned myself. Is that really how you want to drive your life? Constantly chasing after bigger, shinier goals just to prove something to someone, just to show that you're better than this person who you secretly admire. This endless cycle leaves you so exhausted, always seeing the grass as greener elsewhere. Meanwhile, the people that you envy remain unaffected. And I know that it's a very natural feeling that people have to want to compare themselves to others. But I think in my life especially, it was just a very poisonous thing. I would sometimes, and it's hard to me to admit, but I would really sometimes think, oh my god, this person is so beautiful, so amazing, so, talented, skilled, that I would secretly try to find something bad about them. And I would focus so much on what they have achieved that I would not think about my personal achievements, and I would actually end up feeling so much worse, and I would have all these negative emotions. And actually, to me, being jealous at this extent is really toxic and negative, and I've learned many years ago how to almost not feel it, or at least not feel it in a negative way. That this is just something I'm really proud of, and it's helped me a lot to be more focused on my personal life and not to not to be toxic with other people as well. Instead of letting jealousy consume you, try shifting your perspective. Use others' success as inspiration rather than competition. Also focus on appreciating what you actually have, what you've actually done as well. Try just working on your goals with your own pace. A study by researchers at the University of California at Berkeley found that practicing gratitude is not only reducing feelings of jealousy, but also increases the overall satisfaction with your own life. Each path is unique, and comparing your journey to someone else's is unfair, firstly, to you. As a psychologist, Carl Rogers said, "What I am is good enough if I would only be it openly." And also a little note, sometimes people portray a completely different image. It happened to me so many times to think that some people really have it all, and they do have more than I do. It's normal. They have, money, better families, better whatever, work, life experiences, travels. And you can also find that they also have actually their issues, or maybe they don't. This is not what you should be thinking of constantly. It's not gonna drive you anywhere. It's just gonna make you feel miserable. Even if you acknowledge the fact that these people that you thought have the perfect life actually have it all bad, their relationship is terrible, for example. What are you gonna feel good about it? It's a very toxic feeling to me. I'm happy to not have this feeling influence my life. Let's talk about jealousy in the relationship. High chances that this is also a very important topic to you. I don't know, it used to be to me. I was very jealous. I could not admit it, but I was. When I was younger, like many other people, I struggled with jealousy in relationships. I would sometimes even let it take over. It would make me feel terribly insecure, and it would create unnecessary conflict. Over time, I realized that jealousy stems from two primary sources: low self-esteem and trust issues caused by past trauma, or also being with someone who triggers all of these feelings. Jealousy comes from within. It's worth exploring why. Reflect on your past experiences. Ideally, if you can invest into therapy, it's gonna help you. It helped me a lot, and it's gonna help you understand why you have those trust issues. And actually, it would help you accept that you're not crazy and this is completely normal, because you've experienced all those terrible things probably that led you to feel like you cannot trust other people. This would happen to me. Meditation, journaling, introspection, all those things, exploring cognitive behavioral therapy, it's gonna help you understand why you have those feelings, why you've learned to live this way and to think this way, and it will also help you build trust not only in others but in yourself. The research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology shows that self-esteem is a key factor in managing jealousy. By boosting your self-worth, you can reduce the grip jealousy has on you. I should mention, however, that if your partner's behavior is what's triggering you, it's important to evaluate your relationship. Are they being transparent and supportive enough? Or are they crossing boundaries that make you feel uneasy? Are they really triggering your trauma? Open communication is key. It's what's gonna make the whole difference. Jealousy is natural, is normal at some extent, but it does not have to control your life. If you're feeling like you really are consumed by those negative feelings of jealousy, you cannot trust your partner, you really hate your own life and you think that everybody has it better, try addressing the roots, where it all comes from. And again, focusing on growth instead of comparison is very helpful. The moment I've become more confident in myself, my looks, I really struggle still, in my career, in all those little aspects, I'm in a very secure long-term relationship. I've been for forever now. There's also this, I have no triggers, nothing is triggering my feeling of distrust. Yeah, this is something I don't have jealousy in my life anymore. I don't think about it almost never. Again, it can be normal. I'm not saying that you have to have zero jealousy in your own life, because I'm not telling you to suppress any emotions. This is also unhealthy, and it's gonna change your whole freaking life. Pressure and failure. When you're in your 20s, every decision feels monumental, and failure feels like the end of the world sometimes. But here's the reality. It's inevitable that you're gonna fail at some point at something. It's essential. It's going to happen sooner or later. And this is something you just have to accept and learn how to move on, you know? And sometimes those little failures are actually good, and you will actually end up at making even a better decision in your life that's gonna make you even happier, wealthier, or whatever you're searching for. It's easy to fall into the trap also of thinking that everyone else has their life together. Social media is really showing off all the great aspects of others' lives, and it seems like your peers are landing dream jobs, are traveling the world, and starting picture-perfect relationships. But the truth is, most people are just as uncertain as you are. Maybe they're still really struggling. You don't know that. You will never know, actually. The pressure to succeed in your 20s can be really overwhelming. You might feel like every choice is very important. Where you live, with who you live, define the rest of your life. But this decade is really made for experimenting, trying to find something, figuring out who you are, what you want, what are your values, what you want to do in life, and you can make wrong choices and then change your mind. There will be a lot of pressure, but most of it is the pressure that you put on yourself. It's also to do with all the jealousy and all other things like feeling confused. It's all interlinked. Psychologist Carol Dweck known for her work on the growth mindset, emphasizes the value of failure as a stepping stone to success. She writes, "If you're not failing, you're not growing. Failure isn't necessarily a sign that you are on the wrong path. It's a sign that you're challenging yourself and stepping outside your comfort zone and gaining experiences that will shape your future." It's also important to acknowledge that being in your 20s might not be as exciting and fun as you've expected, as everybody say. Well, that was my experience, at least, when I just turned 20. Before 20s even, I was not having a very fun time until very recently, and everybody would tell me that this is the best time of your life. I was freaking lost all the time and I was not fun. So this is normal. This can happen. You will have a great life. You are already having it. You will have fun later, and you can feel dissatisfied sometimes. I personally strive to let go of the pressure. Give yourself permission to fail. Take risks and learn along the way. And because I'm an actress, I've experienced a lot of failures. I've experienced a lot of rejection, both personal and based on my skill and based on whatever. I've had it. I've just learned that I still have a choice to keep pressuring myself and saying, well, you did this really badly. They rejected you. You didn't get this role, for example. Or I can just let it go. Try to not think about it, at least. The first decision will really be taking a lot of my time and energy and strength that I could be using to get better at this. That I could be using to learn something new and go, I don't know, take classes or read a book or do something for self-improvement, for example. I didn't get it, whatever. We all have to learn how to let go of this pressure. The next one, establish your goals and ignore unhelpful advice. In your 20s, everyone around you seems to have an opinion on what you should be doing and how you should live your own life. Parents, relatives, even strangers, friends will give you unsolicited advice about your career, your relationship, and the right way to live. Some of it might be well-intentioned, some even might be a good advice, but a lot of it is either outdated, misinformed, or simply not relevant to you and what you actually want and to your personal journey. Here's the thing, you don't have to listen. All the generations grew up in a completely different world. Many of their perspectives on work, education, relationships don't align with today's reality. They might tell you to chase job security over passion, to follow a linear life path, to avoid risks. But the world has changed. Careers are more flexible. Success is not longer defined by a single mold. It's a very important time to establish your goals and understand what you actually want, what are your values. And goals, I mean, it can be not even career-wise. It can be not professional goals. It can be just goals in life to feel as happy and satisfied most of the time. What kind of life do you want to build? What excites you? Again, your 20s is the time to create your own definition of success as well. Take advice from people who actually inspire you, not who project their fears into you. Don't listen to those people who would just point at your mistakes and say, well, I told you you should have done this. This is not true. You can do whatever you want. Me personally, I try to never focus on regret, but if I would say that I regret listening to people's opinions about what I should be doing in my life and actually doing the stuff they wanted me to be doing instead of listening to myself and relying on my own values and what I wanted to do. And my great-grandmother, just a few months before passing, I remember she told me to not listen to anyone. This is the person who would actually give advice. It was a person who actually gave advice a lot to all of us in our family, and she told me this: not listen to anyone, do what you want, because she realized that her life wasn't necessarily based on what she actually wanted. She was looking for security in a relationship, in her career, everywhere. She was just doing what she thought she was supposed to be doing, and she only realized it when she turned 80-something years old. I keep this in mind. As Albert Camus brought in the myth of Sisyphus, the struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill men's heart. one must imagine Sisyphus happy. In other words, meaning isn't something handed to you, it's something that you create, even in the face of uncertainty. And the last part I want to talk about is your ego and your time, the self-acceptance and self-love. One of the most valuable things we can learn in our 20s, I think, is how to be kind to yourself. You know, teenagers, they hate a lot on themselves. And when we grow older, we still have this pattern of behavior towards self-hate. And society conditions us to constantly strive for more, to be more successful, more attractive, more productive. But this endless chase often leads to burnout and self-doubt. Self-acceptance is about recognizing that you are enough right now as you are. It's understanding or trying to understand that your self-worth isn't tied to external validation, your relationship status, your job title, or how much you've accomplished at a certain age. The ego is tricky, makes us to compare ourselves to others and worry a lot about how we're perceived and fear failure. So the truth is, most people are too caught up in their own lives to scrutinize yours. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to show them that you are perfect, because no one is perfect. First of all, psychologist Carl Rogers, a pioneer in humanistic psychology, he stated, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." In other words, real transformation comes not from self-judgment, but from embracing who you are. This is one of the most crucial things I've realized, and I'm trying to remind myself every day that I shouldn't be that influenced by what other people think of me. I cannot control it. Some people are gonna hate me, some are gonna love me. It's fine. I should just be focused on embracing myself the way I am, trying to understand who I am. Otherwise, I would, waste too much time on thinking about how I'm perceived by other people, especially those people who you're jealous of, for example. Again, it's all interlinked. And most importantly, guard your time. Your 20s are precious. You don't owe anyone your energy. Don't waste your time on people and relationships and job activities that drain you. Invest in what actually fulfills you. And the sooner you learn how to project your peace, the happier you'll be. At the end of the day, life is not about impressing others. It's about feeling at peace with yourself. Love yourself, accept yourself, and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Since my childhood, over the time, I've learned how to please people. Only recently I've realized that I don't want to be people-pleasing my whole life. And actually, it's a very tough thing to get rid of. So the sooner you realize this, the better. I'm not saying that I have it all figured out, not at all, actually. So let's jump into a little conclusion. Here's the truth. No one has it all figured out, unless they're psychopaths. Not at 20, not at 30, not at 50. The difference is the people who seem the most confident aren't the ones who know all the answers. They're just the ones who learn how to be okay with not knowing them. Your 20s are messy, unpredictable, and sometimes exhausting. But they're also full of growth, discovery, some fun moments, and the freedom to make mistakes and to learn without the weight of permanence. So give yourself grace. Set your own goals, embrace the uncertainty, and most importantly, be kind to yourself. As Camus once said, in the midst of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer. You've got time, you've got resilience, you're doing just fine. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please let me know if you liked it by leaving a little like and a little comment. You can also click on the bell and subscribe to the channel if you want to watch more videos like this. And you can also drop some of the ideas or your own personal thoughts about this topic. I would appreciate it. I would read and answer to you all. Again, my name is Nathalie, and we'll see each other very soon. Bye bye.